Gharj, whom the alchemists of a younger age sought to emulate, but all would fail. Look upon Gharj and die.
Hey there friends and viewers, this is Hengest with TGN and welcome to another raid boss guide here in Star Wars The Old Republic. This one is for Gharj, the second boss in the Eternity Vault. This is the 8-man encounter. If you would like to see the previous boss or other boss guides that we have done, click the annotations above. Alright, so Gharj is kind of a tank and spank that many of you are familiar with, who is also, by the way, let me just throw this in there, one of the most badass looking bosses I've ever seen. I really like the art and the environment of this fight. It's really sweet. So he's a tank and spank with a few exceptions. You only really need one tank for this boss. However, in phase 2 or the subsequent phases, you probably do want an off tank to pick up some adds. Although that is not entirely mandatory, you can just rely heavily on melee DPS. So let's start off. Gharj frequently stomps on the tank's location, dealing a minimal amount of damage to AoE melee DPS. This can be avoided if you can foresee it, especially for you Jedi Guardians out there or Sentinels. You can move out when you know he's about to charge and then charge back in, as it should kind of be part of your rotation by now, if you haven't figured that out yet. After that, what seems to be in set intervals, I believe of about 1 minute, Gharj will stomp really hard and cause rocks to fall from the ceiling of this cavern, which will cause a pathway to appear leading to the next platform. Between each one of these transitions, he'll do a raid-wide knockback that will likely hit some of your guys off into the lava. So get them back as quickly as possible, because the lava does hit you with a stacking debuff that will cause increasingly more damage the longer you stand in it. So get out as soon as possible. It is a stacking debuff. Also, when he makes a transition from one platform to the next, he'll do a furious leap on top of the tank, which, well, the tank should be in position to tank him on the next platform before this happens. Now, anybody standing near the tank is going to get a 3-second stun, which also causes a lot of damage. It also cuts your DPS down quite a bit, so do your absolute best to avoid this. That means melee, don't stand anywhere near the main tank during the transition phase. Also, after the third transition, adds will spawn and chase random players. Try to have your off tank pick this up, or you can just have tanky melee DPS pick these guys down, because they are very weak, but they do tend to go aggro after healers because they're healing during this time. The little critters will act as your soft and rage timer, as more and more of them will spawn the longer it takes you to defeat Gharj. I'd say after about 4 transitions of these guys spawning, you're going to be dealing with an overwhelming number of the minions. My force spec is quite literally, well, it annihilates these things, so I made a point of focusing them down, and you can see the amount of damage I deal to the adds in the video. So all in all, this process will repeat itself until the guy dies. Overall, it's a very simple fight. There's not a lot to it, and you shouldn't really be wiping as long as you have a coherent raid group. He's certainly easier than the Annihilation droid, so yeah, Gharj, he's a real fun fight. He's awesome, the cosmetics of it are really cool, and he drops awesome gear. Let me know what I can do to improve these videos in the future, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see you next time. Stay tuned for more to come. Bye-bye.